Hi, it's Karen Nefer from the DCIU. I thought I would do a quick screencast on how to get your reports from PBIS assessment. I know this can be confusing, and I thought it might be the best to do a screencast just so you could actually see how to do it and refer back to this video in the future. So right now I'm on the PBISapps.org website, and I've clicked on the PBIS assessment tab. Now, if you're watching this, I've added all of the coaches that I work with in the county to be a user for your buildings. So when you come to this component here for the dashboard, in your building, when you click on that, what you will see is something kind of similar to this. So when you click on that, it would show you either if you have any open surveys for your building, anything that's upcoming, and then closed surveys. Now, if you want to look at the closed surveys, that's the only place that we can actually look at reports. Now, anything that you've ever done in your building will actually be listed here under the closed survey windows. So if you actually want to go back and print a report from 2012, 2013, that would actually be here, which is kind of nice for you. Now, because I'm in the demo account, I didn't want to bring up anybody's building's data because of confidentiality. The only survey we're going to be able to look at as a demo is this school-wide tiered fidelity inventory. So I'll kind of talk you through. It's the same general principle of how we get the reports. It's just you're not going to be as familiar with the report. So when you come down here to the closed survey window, you would just click on whatever report you would want, and it shows you, this is exactly what it would look like. So it would show you, all this information when the survey was opened and closed, how many people had completed the survey. So sometimes when you ask me how many people have completed it thus far, this same information would be up here in the open survey windows. So when I come on line and I look here, that's how many I will know have completed it. I can't go into the survey while it's still live. It hasn't closed yet to actually look at a report until the date has actually closed and the report is available. So once it's been closed, we can actually then click on where it says View Reports. Let's click on that, and it will actually show us our first survey. Now, what you need to kind of understand is that where it says here, surveys, this is the one that we're looking at right now, which is the Tiered Fidelity Inventory 2.1, which is this. And then you have to select a report. There's more than one report typically for each survey. So right now we're looking at the total score. And then we have to be careful that we're selecting the appropriate year range. So it looks like here they have anywhere from 2013, 2014 up to 2016. This is typically what the range presents as. So it looks like they had an administration back in 2015 in February all the way through December. So it looks like 5 administrations during that time. Actually, there was more than that now that I'm looking at these. There was a lot of them. So that's our total score. So they're only giving us the dates on some of them, it looks like, because they can't fit all the dates on that graph, but they're giving you like just some of the dates there. So now what you can do here when you're looking, so this is our total report, total score report. You can do a couple things. You could just, if you're rushed, you could just print this and be done with it. When I send them to you guys, what I do is I would have to hit generate, which this is already generated, and then I usually do this as a PDF. I'll show you what that looks like. So this is the PDF. So you have this as a PDF, and then I save it. So then I would just come up here to save, and then I save it, and then I send it to you. So it's kind of a nicer way to do that, and then you kind of have it like in a file, and you don't have to keep coming back to the website each time you want to take a look at this. So that's one way to do that. So this is the total score. And then you have to come under here. There's a bunch of reports if you look here. So under the tiered fidelity inventory, there's a total score, a scale score, subscale score, an item score, and then I'll talk about the download after we look at these reports. So if we click on scale, you have to every single time generate. So wait for it to generate. Then you can see it generates a new report. And it's very nice because it actually will give you the comparison and for every single administration. Again, so you generate the report. If you want to do the PDF, again, I'm just going to open it. You could just save it from here, but just so you guys see what it looks like. Is our PDF. And then we would go through for the other one, the subscale and the item. Now I do want to say, I'm just going to show you what the item looks like in this one. It doesn't look as nice in some of the other surveys that we do. So here's an item report in this TFI. Now I do not do the item report for either the school safety survey nor the self-assessment survey across years, across several administrations, because I find it very confusing and not helpful. Because this one is very, very nice. If you see how it compares every single administration next to each other, and you can see the features like 4 of 4, 0 of 4, 3 of 4, and it gives you the score here. What happens in the school safety survey is you get just everything here with one administration, and then it does the very next administration below it, and you might end up with a 40-page report. And that's very similar to the self-assessment survey. It doesn't, once you get more than like one, or I should say like 2 or 3 administrations, it's very, very difficult to have anything, next to each other. And it just becomes very, very cumbersome to kind of compare the items. So just be careful of these date ranges. So typically what I do is only send you guys that current year items, only because it starts to look really confusing and not as helpful when we kind of get down to item analysis. And just one more word about item analysis, particularly on the self-assessment survey. Once we pick items in just the self-assessment survey, what will happen is you'll have self-assessment survey here. As soon as you click items, a little box will pop up right here, which you might not even notice. So it's a tiny little box right under items, and there'd be some words that say activate report highlights. You might not even notice it because it's just in kind of this font here, but it's just a little box. If you remember in the self-assessment surveys, if you print them in color, if you look at them in color on the screen, self-assessment survey color codes by priorities. So typically, any of the items in red are things that typically should be looked at as kind of high priority, things that are not in place yet and are given high priority. Yellow is kind of the things that are a medium priority, and anything that's not colored, kind of like these are not colored, are things that are actually in place and are given low priority. So if you click that little box, the Activate Report Highlights, that will actually color code it for you. If you do not click the little box under items, everything will just be this, uncolored, unhighlighted. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you're not used to having to click that little box, it won't color code things for you. So just kind of remember when you're in the items, a couple things, just remember, be careful of your ears, make sure you do your little box there. Always remember generate first before you do PDFs, or generate every time you need a new report. Now, what was I going to say? Couple other little things wanted to talk to you guys about. There's one last little report in here. It's called download. No matter what report we're in, always gives you an option to do download. I'm going to show you what this looks like, and you might be wondering why we would ever do this. So if we click download, it's going to give us actually all the raw data in an Excel file. And this looks maybe confusing, and you'd be thinking, why would we ever want this? It is literally all the raw data. Yeah, lots and lots and lots of raw data. When you get 100 people taking a survey, 50 people taking a survey, you're going to get a lot of raw data here. So, when we get those reports, like the survey reports I was just showing you, we cannot disaggregate data. University of Oregon cannot disaggregate data. So this is the only way we can attempt to disaggregate data. So in many of our reports, the folks that are participating, they might have a field where when they are first, logging on, where it might ask them for what role they're playing in the school, an administrator, a teacher, student, something like that, and say we want to look at student response versus, staff response. That would be a great way for us to disaggregate data, or administration versus teachers, or something like that. So this is where we might really want to look at that. So we could collapse, like a lot of these, like school, city, state, date completed, all of these. We could collapse a lot of those because we already know that. The school ID, all these things, we could probably just collapse all of that. But we might want to start looking at some of these other things, how they're responding. So that might be the one thing that you might want that. So I think that might be all I have for you guys. So just kind of remember, make sure you're picking your reports. You need to select all the reports. Now, not every single survey is going to have all of these. Most of them only have 3. Be mindful of your years. Make sure you click on the self-assessment survey for items. Activate report highlights if you want them. When you come under here, outcome tool, here's our school safety survey. Here's our BOQ. And here's our self-assessment survey. Those are going to be the ones that you mainly are going to be using. Tick 3, this is the one that we use. If you had something older, several years ago, there might be data under tick 2, but the tick 3 is the one that we use. Some of our schools, I have one school that I did do a TFI with, the one that we're looking at right now. And for some of you, we have the set information in there. So those are kind of the ones that you might be more kind of looking at. So let me know if you guys have any questions, but it's not too difficult once you kind of get the hang of it. You can kind of feel your way around, but let me know if you have any other questions. Okay? Thanks, everybody, and I will be talking to you soon. Bye.